We don't own anything anymore. The second you stop paying for an online subscription service, the things you enjoy are gone. The films you like to watch, gone. The music you like to listen to, also gone. And let's say you pay for some of your digital media. Well, you own that, right? Wrong. The games, the ebooks, even the audiobooks you've bought, well, they're not really yours and could be taken away at any moment. We are in an era of digital entertainment, and although the ebook and the audiobook format didn't kill physical book sales, they still made a significant dent. Enough of a dent, you could say, that us readers should be a teeny bit concerned that while we're paying an almost equal cost or more for an ebook or an audiobook compared to a physical book, those books are not really ours and could be taken away without you even realizing it. Let me share with you a little something called the Kindle Store Terms of Use. I know, boring, but stick with me. In this section called Kindle Content, it explicitly says Kindle content is licensed, not sold to you by Amazon. This essentially means you don't have any ownership rights over the ebooks within your Kindle. You're basically renting them. Oh, and you can only read these books on Kindle software, in other words, your Kindle or the Kindle app. In availability of Kindle content, Amazon says that existing Kindle content may also be removed at any time, which means your ebooks and your access to them are on thin ice. In other words, they can, should they want to, remove books from the Kindle store, Amazon, or even from your Kindle. For Kindle Unlimited, it's even more strict. They can pull titles whenever they want, of course, but if you stop paying for the service, all downloaded Kindle Unlimited books are automatically deleted or rendered inaccessible to you. This kind of policy isn't just reserved for Amazon though. If you get your books using a Kobo Plus subscription, they'll be removed if you cancel. If you buy ebooks from them, it's only a license, you don't own them. The same goes for Google Play Store, Hive, the Apple Store, or pretty much anywhere else you can think of buying ebooks or audiobooks from, except for two very specific occasions. When you buy DRM-free ebooks, or the service you're using allows you to actually own them. In other words, legally download them and use them anywhere. Let's start with DRM-free because it sounds the most boring, but it is important. DRM, or digital rights management, is basically some extra information that's added to a file to protect it from piracy. This doesn't just apply to ebooks, but audiobooks, video games, TV shows, music, digital stuff. It's also a way for online stores to keep you within their ecosystem. Kindle, Kobo, Nook, etc. Because if an ebook is DRM protected, you can't legally move that file from one system to another if it's in their terms of use. To top it off, Amazon has its own file type, AZW, which makes reading this file on another device impossible unless you convert it, which of course is not legal if the book is protected by DRM, and of course, most Amazon books are. Plus, again, it's in their terms of service. This is made even harder now because Amazon removed the download and transfer via USB option for most Kindle books, making it almost impossible to get your books off your device and on to something else. Again, this isn't just an Amazon thing. A lot of online stores where you buy ebooks will have DRM built into the files, but not all of them. You can buy DRM-free ebooks from Kobo, ebooks.com, and supposedly bookshop.org, though I'm struggling to find them there. It doesn't look particularly great, does it? But there are some services out there that navigate this digital media world with some grace. One of which is a service that I've been using for well over a year now, Libro FM. They're not sponsoring this video or anything, I just love them. When you buy an audiobook from Libro FM, which you can do outright or via their credit subscription system, this book is yours, and the best part, you can download it. You're not essentially renting it like the other services I mentioned earlier, it's yours, which is pretty hard to come by. So even if for whatever reason Libro FM goes down or they remove a book, you've still got your files if you downloaded them, which is amazing. I'll leave a link to Libro FM in the description. So now we know how digital media essentially works, how you're either locked into a platform or are paying essentially full price to rent your books. Let's take a look at why this matters. years ago, if you'd asked me if I was concerned that I was essentially renting my ebooks and audiobooks rather than owning them, I would have been like, what can you do? The convenience of having quick access to any book I want without having to fill the shelves in my home made the trade-off seem pretty minimal. But something within me has changed.
Something has changed within me.
When subscription and streaming service first came about, they were useful, convenient, and cost-effective. But now everything is a subscription. You either pay or you have access to nothing. And when all of these pile up, the amount you pay each month is honestly ridiculous. I cancelled my Netflix subscription recently because I wasn't watching enough to justify the cost. It was a good decision, but recently I had an itch to watch the Justice League animated series I watched as a kid. To find out that I could either watch it on Netflix, pay to watch it on YouTube, Prime, Apple TV, or Google, but none of these would be me owning the series. I'd be buying access to it, and if the service removed it, which has been known to happen, I would lose that access. I don't know about you, but I hate the idea of paying for something every month or even as a one-off to then lose access to that thing at the drop of a hat. I kind of want to pay for it and then, well, it's mine. When it comes to ebooks, however, we're not just talking about losing access if Amazon or whatever platform decides to remove the book. We're talking about censorship. Amazon has been known to apply censorship and block certain books from being sold in places like UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Yemen, to name a few. This censorship usually relates to books about LGBTQIA+ stories, the occult, erotica, Christianity, and health and wellness. Amazon says these books are unavailable to local laws, trade sanctions, and content regulations. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that while this is currently restricted to certain parts of the world, I'm not entirely convinced that we won't be seeing more of it. In the US, books are rapidly being banned in public schools. In the 2024 to 2025 school year, nearly 4,000 titles were removed. 4,000 in 1 year. This includes books like Wicked by Gregory Maguire, All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson, and The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, to name a few. In this report by PEN America, it says a new vector of book banning pressure has appeared: the federal government. It argues that recent executive orders and policy changes have helped increase school censorship. Under the banner of protecting children, all of this rhetoric has reinforced the same arguments used by state and local groups to justify removing books about race, gender, and sexuality from classrooms. And if we already know the US government and big tech companies are like this, well, I don't see it as a 0% chance that some of those policies and ideologies won't trickle down into the books we can or cannot buy online either, digital or physical. If the digital books you've bought from somewhere like Amazon can be taken away from you as per their terms and conditions, then should this censorship happen, you'll lose access to those books. It may sound extreme, it may sound like I'm overly cautious, but honestly, we live in that type of world now, where you can't predict anything. So regardless of whether you have ebooks or not, it's worth thinking about your access to those files, because we now know we don't really own them. If I plan on rereading a book, or if a book I really enjoyed is in an ebook format, I plan on buying a physical version of it, whether that's secondhand or new, just so I can guarantee access again without paying out of pocket. So you tell me, does the fact that you don't own your ebooks or audiobooks bother you or not? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time for another video.